You want to
Ready
do
to
intro?
go? Ready to go?
Right, you go.
Right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Right. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of No Young No Old. First I'm going to do a little shout out to our sponsors, which is Portnall Car Sales, which is myself, and Beauty Gal.
Beauty gal.24 or something like that. You'll find them on our Instagram. They do obviously your nails, eyebrows, and right now their new place can't do intimate waxing, but they also do intimate waxing for you females.
Aye, that's the one. Today's guest is one we've been trying to get on for quite a while now, a good few months. Kind of more or less when we started this. Mainly to share a story, and she wants to share a story. So I'm going to introduce today is Leona.
Yeah.
And your mum, so I didn't get your name. Charlene. And we're going to kind of talk about everything that's kind of happened over the past, what is it now? Most of your
Many
life,
years,
isn't it?
basically.
Majority of my life. I was 7 is what I remember, but really, when did I start taking really no well?
You were a
Just
sickly
before that.
baby, but I would say about 6, 7. That's
6,
when
7
we really
years.
That's when I
noticed
really
something was
remember
wrong.
it, aye.
Because we were talking about that downstairs and about kids and how, like, I've got a 7-year-old, you've got a 9-year-old, and everything's fine. You know what I mean? And then there's something like that happens. And so mainly we're kind of talking about your story with how NHS probably haven't been the greatest.
Let you down, basically.
Aye,
Yeah.
that's kind of like a layman's term there. But to start, I think to start from the start, like when things kind of started going bad.
Or like when I really knew about it was like in school, really. Like I would get home from school and I would just crash out all day. Like I
Aye.
would be done in. I would be
Exhaustion.
sleeping in classes. That's really when I started noticing, because I loved learning.
Mm-hmm.
So not being able to concentrate was a big thing to me. So I go, why am I so tired all the time? Because I was going to sleep at night.
Especially, what age would that have been? Like, same that kind of 7, 8?
I would say about maybe 9 is really when that clicked to me, because
Yeah.
that's when you're kind of really wanting to do your work and stuff like that. And I loved singing as well, so I was up on stages singing and that, and then I just started not really wanting to do that as well.
Aye.
So
It's mad
I would say I
for,
was dead young.
especially when you're young, because you kind of, especially you would have noticed it, because usually kids are full of energy, they're ready to go, and like my wee boy and stuff like that, we try to get them to calm down. So if you're
won't do
noticing they're just crashing
Right,
like
she
that.
was coming in and she was just,
I was done in.
Done.
didn't want to do anything.
Did you notice then that, for your point of view, did you think something must be up here?
She was always really thin,
Yeah.
and we were back and forward to the doctor.
I get bullied really
Aye.
badly for it.
And their answer to that was always, she's fit, she's healthy, and she's constantly running about.
Basically, she's alive.
Aye,
Yeah.
aye, aye.
Aye, but she's alive. And
There
that's
was no
fine.
other answer other than that, and we would just be sending her away. It got to a point where it was like me irritating the doctors and then
Aye.
telling me that I was making this up. The thinner she
begging
got,
them?
the worse it felt. Like, she had nothing on her. Nothing. She
Aye,
was so
it's
stick
scary.
thin.
Like literal skin and
And you could
bones.
actually see her back was curving, like
Aye.
down at the back.
Yeah.
I see it.
And still nothing. They just ignored it.
It's scary that when you have battles, because I hear it now and again of people even just battling with a GP just for a diagnosis.
Well, we were really just battling them to pass me to a specialist.
Aye, just to
at
get
least do
properly
scans
seen.
or blood tests, because they weren't doing none of this. They were just refusing everything.
So what are they saying is your condition? What are they trying to say?
So they started it off at the start of the year with, I had a brain cyst that they didn't tell me about in 2016.
Right.
They caught that on an MRI scan that they done for my back, but obviously that scans right up into your
Yeah.
brain
Yeah,
as well. And I had already found out before the hospital that I had kyphosis and lumbar scoliosis. That was in my records as well, but nobody ever told me about that. So it was like they two things caught in the one scan.
Aye.
So they told us about that, and then they told me I had, what was that, secondary?
Maria.
No.
It's never just one
Other
thing.
one,
Is
because
it,
they called it something else for the Addison's disease. Because they told me I had Addison's
Oh,
disease, and then they messed about
adrenal
with it,
insufficiency.
Like, so they said secondary adrenal insufficiency, and I was like, secondary? Like, what do you mean by that? They tried to blame it on me being on painkillers. I was like,
Right.
you put me on the painkillers at 16-year-old. Like, nobody tried me on anything
Yeah.
else painkiller-wise. They just pat me right onto the hydrocodone.
aye, aye.
And then it got up to pregabalin as well. So it's like just handing me more pills,
Just pills. I
and
think
handing me
that's
off. I
going
was
to...
like, so how...
Antidepressants at 16.
Basically, that's admitting that
Aye.
you've messed up anyway, regardless what way we go with this. Like, they've messed up. They shouldn't
Aye,
have been
no,
giving me that
definitely,
if it's
'cause-
going to cause that.
Especially when it's the case of, oh, we don't really know, but here, try this.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just like a kind of treating you like a guinea pig.
As
in
they
a sense.
literally kept saying to me, we're just going to symptom control you. So you're not going to symptom control me. I'm 22-year-old. Like, and at the start of years, obviously shouting 21-year-old. So I'm going, this isn't right. Like, if you're telling me we're now at a point we need to symptom control, then you must know that there's something that wrong that I went my whole life without it being diagnosed. Like, that doesn't... You don't tell somebody that young that. You wouldn't even tell somebody older.
Aye, no, definitely not. 'Cause especially when what they're giving you to help your symptoms is causing you more symptoms. So it's like a spiral here without somebody sitting down here and taking control of
You
what's...
see, the symptoms were the same before she was on
Aye.
that medication. It never
Already
changed.
had them.
So to blame that didn't sit right with us, and that's why we kept pushing. Something's not right.
So I'm guessing because she was so young, you had to fight quite a lot of battles. Because even when I started, obviously, you know, a bit when I started 18 but unwell, I was ignored because my mum had to fight for me because they see you as a child, they've got no interest in you. So you obviously went to the GP and they kept batting me off basically when they tried to give the bloods. When did that eventually they gave in to you and actually kind of tried to help you with
They
it?
didn't.
They did, they
They
no.
never ever gave in to help. Well, they gave her.
But that was that.
They gave her
naproxen and
no. What was the therapy that they gave you?
physiotherapy.
Physiotherapy. She went twice, and then they said to me, "There's a pregnancy ball for her. Get her to sit straight on that, and that'll fix her back." Wasn't offered a brace. Wasn't offered anything to help with that. And her bones were soft enough back then, but it could have helped her. They ignored it. So really, you were an adult before MDs even listened to you, really, weren't you?
Well, if I take it right back, I was 15 when I tried to take my own life, and that was because of all this. Because I got to 15 and I went, I'm going to turn 16 soon, and I'm going to be battling them on my own as an adult. Like at that point I thought, this is impossible, I'm not winning this. And then they came in and they changed everything. I found out again in January, looking through my medical records, that they changed the whole statement that I gave through that. They said that I blamed it on my mum. Me and my mum had argued, we fell out, we'd done this, blamed it on everything, drugs, alcohol, you name it, and they were blaming it on that. And when I brought it up again to them in the hospital, they just kind of brushed it off as if okay, but it was the same psychiatrist team. So they're not going to admit it. Like every single team that's messed up, they're not going to admit nothing. Like I get wee bits out of them that I can piece the story together, but it's like trying to explain it to everybody else. It's
hard work.
It is hard because there's so many different ways I can go with it.
So like the way, like obviously the symptoms that kind of illness you've got, like at this point now, obviously that you're 22 now.
22.
Like, have you got anything like in the pipeline that you think is going to help, or is everything you're going to have to do going to be away from NHS, like private?
Everything's going to need to be private at this point. That's really the point in the GoFundMe, and that's set up at where it's set up at, because that was at that point we did believe that it was only going to be the brain cyst removal that I needed, and that's nasally. It's no, it's obviously it's in your brain. It's a big surgery, but it's no as intense as cutting into somebody's brain. You're going up their nose for it, so it's easier. So we set it up for that, but it's going to, we don't even know how much this is going to be.
Testing.
A lot.
Is it in this country though you can get this kind of like?
You can get it here, but it's a fortune.
Like you're looking at going somewhere else.
We honestly don't know.
I know.
Right now we know that she definitely needs a feeding tube, because she doesn't absorb any nutrients from anything that she does manage to keep down, because even at that you keep very little.
I have been assessed for that, and I have actually got
paperwork's all there, but they will not give her it because she wouldn't sign a contract.
The contract was a blackmail later.
Well,
basically we'll give you as long as you shut up.
Pretty much, and they were threatening, we'll take away your painkillers not in it, but this might cause more pain, and who's going to sign that? Anybody with the same brains no signing that. If you're cognitive, you're there's no chance.
I'm going to check the camera. It's flickering there. I want to make sure it's working.
We keep getting the fear because one day we done one with Jay, and Jay does the podcast as well. We had one with him, and he never put the camera on. So ever since then, that's us get paranoid now. Make sure they're working.
It's one of the ones I seen a flicker there and a panic going, I better be recording this.
We're going to start here, fake the actions.
Thankfully we've not had to do that yet.
Well, we've not yet. Usually there's a production team's usually in doing it, but they've not been in a while, and it's been me filming and everything.
It's been taken him with. But like you said there, so it's like you having to raise this type of money. And it's hard, like, see, yous are telling me, right, so that, like we've said, this is all news for us, like, we don't do that much research, and it's, luckily, touch wood, I've not had much to dealing with NHS and stuff like that, but hearing it, it sounds so extreme.
It sounds like something straight out of a movie.
I was going to say, it does sound as if it's all fake.
Like
I'm not meaning that in a bad way. It sounds like I'm being hanged with, but it does sound all pure fake. But
it sounds extreme because you think, how could they be so negligent? Like, how could human beings, like, see, like, because, like, obviously you're in a chair at the moment, you're struggling to kind of move, and like you said, to keeping food down, going, how can human beings see you like that and try and
push you away, basically,
fight against you? You know what I mean? To help, it's a scary thing to think of, because like you hear stories like this, but you just think
people have said that, isn't it? And the ones that have like kind of stuck around and watched this and been at the hospital and heard consultations, I've actually come back and went, actually seen it ourselves. We see it. Like, we now believe you. We didn't
this was
before.
family and friends that were doing this as well. Like, this is too much. Like, surely it's got to be dramatised a bit, and coming in and going, no, it's actually not. Like, you're right. Even my own family at one point, wasn't it, the first 2 weeks of me being in the hospital stay, we knew they had been negligent in the GP practice, but we didn't know this stemmed my whole medical record, like, and we didn't know it was going to follow me up to the hospital. So I was sitting there thinking, I'm going to get help in here. Like, they're promising me their help, and I'm getting help. Finally, I'm with consultants, like proper like specialists. And they started turning things maybe a bit a week and a bit in, I would say. Like, going into my second week, and it was
Did they think you're
trying to
making
turn my
this up?
family. Like,
That's
Is
the
that
thing.
the thing?
Do
They're
they
trying
think
to keep throwing it back
They keep
an
saying
eating disorder.
functional
An eating
FND.
disorder.
functional neurological disorder, basically meaning that my body doesn't process all the functions like that it's meant to. Like,
Well, I've
my
seen
brain
people with
doesn't-
it. It's mad you said that. Like, I've only just recently seen somebody with FND, and it's a woman on TikTok, and she's got like kind of like a disorder with her hands and her speech.
Yeah.
So for them to kind of just hit out with just
But
random
that's a
stuff like
This is
disorder that
gonna
needs to be
sound-
really looked into. Like,
Aye.
it needs
Yeah.
to be
It's-
properly investigated, and they never even done that.
The treatment for that, for me, is no treatment. The treatment for that for anybody else would be physiotherapy. Like, you would have a mental health specialist, because it falls into psychiatry and psychology. None of that. I'm not even actually officially diagnosed with it, if they want to be like proper about this. Like, they never sent a psychiatrist. I never let a psychiatrist in. I refused them the second time. They came in the first time, I told them everything. Now I've got the recording of everything I said at this point, and they wrote something completely different, and like turned the whole story. And I thought, nah, I'm not dealing with you again. Like, what's the point? What's the point of me sitting speaking to somebody for an hour and a half for them to lie about me? They asked a second time, and I was in the second time, and I went, right, okay, just let them in. That team then came back and went, no, we don't want to come in. We want to have all medical evaluation and exams done before we even think about speaking to her. Then I had my outside mental health team phoning me weeks in, going, where are you? Like, why are you coming up showing you're in the hospital? We've got a wee red dot showing us that you're admitted. Like, what's happened? And why is none of the information being sent through to us? We had an appointment that was missed and everything. And I was like, I thought that they would
ultimately sent over, because it's all linked, you'd think.
Nobody bothered to. And they basically just messed
shut
about
the
eyes.
show.
They just messed about it. My brain went blank there, but I just messed about that.
So it must have been hard for you, knowing that all this is going on mentally, just dealing with these people, for the fact that they've misdiagnosed you this full time. Like, they kept putting you off. So if you heard from any of the chiefs in the hospital, I would say.
I kept asking for them. No, I'm more than happy to say this in any type of podcast or anything publicly, but there is the actual chief of that hospital, I wouldn't go near her. Would not touch her. That if you go into the news, there is actually a news article up about it. It was a microbiologist that's written about it, and funnily enough, it was the second time I was in hospital. It was published weeks into it. And her name's Jane Grant.
Right.
She hides everything for everybody. There's the microbiologist already outed it. She went and took something to her and reported it, and she says, no, you keep your mouth shut, you pipe up. And that lassie went, I'm leaving then, and she left and obviously outed everything.
Because that's the thing, we do think of the NHS, think, oh, it's great, it helps people, but there is a lot of things that go wrong, and there has got to be somebody there that has to keep everything, try to be dodgy, I'd say, and a word dodgy in the NHS, try to keep everything shut, keep people checked, keep your mouth shut.
Well,
You've
they've
done
got a
that, Ryan.
barrister, we know that, that's already signed a paperwork,
we know that
letting
there's
her
a
out the second
barrister
time.
involved.
Aye.
He's
Because
signed the
they've
law,
actually
yeah.
signed the
Aye.
discharge letter, and when I searched him up, he's a High Court barrister, and they'll only deal with a certain figure. So that to me is like, they know how bad this is, like really
How
bad.
fucked up.
I mean, they were checking for cancer and everything only the week that they discharged me, and they were trying to hide about the fact they were doing it. Came in, gave me a little tub thing, and said that we're going to do a 24-hour urine collection on you. I went, oh, that's fine. Says, what's it for? Oh, it's for a full hormone count. And I was thinking, I've done a full hormone count because you know my hormones are off. Like, what's going on? And it was kind of playing on my mind for a bit. When I don't understand this. So I phoned my mum, and she went, if they took a mouth swab, like a saliva swab for you? I went, no, they meant to. She's like, well, they're not doing a hormone test if they've not took your saliva, because you need both of them. So I brought this up to them, and they get a bit about it, and I was like, no, there's something, you can always tell. So I was like, there's something wrong here. Waited maybe about 2.5 weeks before I even get an answer for them, because I kept bringing it up. I'm like, what is going on with this? Where is the results for it? Like, because I'm messing about with that, the same that you did with every other result. Where is the result? Then we asked them straight out, we says, are you looking for, I can't pronounce the name yet, but it's basically an endocrine tumour.
Right.
Now I have got cysts all over me. I've got cysts in my ovaries, cysts in my liver, and obviously the cysts in my brain.
Yeah.
And I've got endocrine autoimmune issues. So when you piece all that together and you think how unwell I am, your brain instantly goes to user checking for cancer if I get cancer.
Yeah.
There's no other way
She
of
did
looking at
admit it
And
eventually.
I she admitted it in the end. That is what we were doing. I said, why did you not just tell me
tell
from the beginning? Like,
Yeah,
It's
just
a positive move. I know obviously they don't want to find that, but at least
I know
in
that's
your
it.
head,
they're
you know they're
working.
actually trying to help you instead of just
ticking
Well,
boxes.
doing it behind my back, I'm thinking, what do yous know that I don't know that would indicate yous to check for that? Because I had to push for every single test I've had. Like, there's not been anything that they've went, right, okay, we'll just give you it. Other than psychiatry, that's they're happy to throw that at me all day long. But anything else I've had to fight for.
I've noticed that therapy, psychiatry, that and antidepressants.
Happy right to them.
It's a big thing.
Paracetamol as well. There's no paracetamol, but painkillers. I've noticed that. Here, have that, you'll be fine.
Painkillers.
Yeah,
Aye,
you're
and
like-
you get then go, we need to take
on
that
your
back
way.
off you, it's causing a lot of your symptoms.
Aye.
Why
It's
do you in the
just-
first place?
It's so that they've
complete
got something they
joke.
can fall back on and say that it is that because they've left that patient for 4 or 5 years when they help. So here's some painkillers for 6
Yeah.
months, but in 6 months' time, I'm going to say that caused your 4 or 5
What
years
you
of pain.
probably find though
It's-
is these people aren't used to dealing with people like yourselves that have knowledge through experience. So
I've said that as well, they don't like the questions.
no,
They don't
but-
like the fact you can bring and this isn't even me being big headed, but you can
Aye.
bring a consultant into me and be having like a basic health chat with them. Like even some things that some people go, what is that?
Aye.
And I can have a
'Cause it's
flowing
your life,
conversation
aye.
with them.
See, when
like,
you've got
That's
nothing, so much time in your hands like she
Aye,
has,
they're
she'll
giving me-
research everything.
unlimited time to look at things that like I could tell them certain things that they should be looking at for me right now that they're just point blank refusing.
Aye.
Like I've got a prolactin level of 1,308, shouldn't be above 25. Anything above 25, they need to start looking for tumours in the body.
And I'm guessing they've not even taken into
Well, they
consideration.
done the urine sample
Well, that's
after
obviously
I kept
hefty.
bringing it up. So then I'm like, my brain ticking again going, like,
So
you've done that because the prolactin level's that high and you're dismissing it.
See if
Instead
the
of-
paperwork wouldn't go missing, a lot of your stuff just disappears.
My childhood stuff is...
see,
A
that
scan
annoys me because
disappeared, and this one was, she was meant to have dye for it. She can actually tell you the full story. They've come in,
Pure
they've put a
argument
double cannula and
I
an
know
arm
what
which
you're
they
talking
shouldn't
about.
have
I get
done.
it.
pictures
dye.
that they've doubled my arms with them and I'm going, you're meant to
And they
take
never
one,
gave it.
one
One
in.
in.
You're not
Aye.
meant to put one in and one in. You're not meant to do that. Like, I don't know what the science is behind it, but you're just not meant to do it.
Aye.
So they never gave her the dye. And then said, oh no, you had that dye. No, nothing came up in the scan. She went, I never had dye.
Oh no, you had it orally.
So that's been a fight since
Just
the
trust
first
me.
You had
time.
it orally and you had water. I
You
said, that's
feel
a
the dye.
water's dye now.
you feel the diet, because it's totally different
It makes
for
you feel
water.
like you're burning as if
Aye.
you're going to pee yourself.
Doesn't it
That's-
feel-
It makes you feel as if you're going to lose control of your bladder.
So we spoke about the head. Obviously, they seem as if they're corrupt as fuck. I'll say it here. My hospital's 24/7. Do what you want to me. I don't care. So consultants, they're obviously a bit corrupt with you. They've no fucking dealt with everything you spoke to them.
No.
So the one I only actually know who's I deal with most nurses. Do you think they're just doing their job, getting to help with the consultant to
Aye.
just do their job, but they're no being corrupt. They're just doing what they've been told to do.
See,
Aye, they'll lose their jobs.
I've got two minds in this. I think that there was a half of them that was exactly like you've just said there, but there's also that other half of them that are just cruel. They are just, they're not in the right industry. In fact, I would go as far as to say some of them are that cruel that it's quite narcissistic behaviour from them. It's like, well, I have the title of nurse in here and you'll get when I give. Like, I'll answer you when I answer you. Like, that's kind of the attitude you get from them. And then if you bring anything up to them, it's all you need to go to the consultant. So they can't tell me anything that they would be able to tell the patient next door. They kind of things is what get my back up. And I had a nurse nearly choke me to death with water. So I don't trust
I just don't try.
any of them
Aye.
around me when they're there.
Aye, because there is people in kind of all industries in the world where there's bad eggs, but I think what you're saying is because I think they don't like the fact you know stuff.
Aye, I think you're challenging.
Challenging them, and I don't think they like it because, like, you probably find that most of these nurses that you're dealing with that aren't like under the nicest are probably ones that think they know everything and they can do everything.
Yeah.
And instead of, no, I mean, like, I think they're all tied up as well, especially like with
Yeah.
like how delicate your
Well,
condition
kept
is.
saying you've got a complex case. As
Say that.
everybody says it, there's not one person I've met that.
But that
hasn't
still
said that
doesn't mean they
medically.
can't help you. That's
There's
what
things they
I
could be
think.
doing right now, and what they've done is they've just sent her home. And to us, we were told
I'm
after them,
danger getting
the
sent
endocrine
home.
team told her she get sent the last time for the 4 months left to die because they didn't have her on the right amount of steroid, and they knew it. They actually knew it and sent her.
They didn't even give me anything to stabilise myself. Didn't have my injections or nothing. Now I was actually shouting, I need this stuff. And I was shouting that steroid's too low because I could feel it. Like, you put somebody on a steroid for 3 weeks at a high dose and then take them right off it to a low dose. My body's then gone, where's my cortisol? Like, where's my adrenaline? Like, why do I feel so Like,
She was only sent home the
horrible,
first
aye.
time because she took a
I think
silent
a
heart
silent heart
attack.
Jesus.
And within, was it, 12 hours?
No, even. Literally.
Less
like,
than that.
aye,
they had
were
to
right
flung
in.
it. And I mean
Aye.
flung it.
They
Not
were
just
that, like,
come in
it was a
and...
pure argument with them about it.
Have
Like,
you got legal?
If you've been legal represented, we don't want to get into too much about that.
Nah, we
'cause
can't
obviously
say too much.
We can't
Aye,
say
aye,
too
aye.
much, but
Just
you
because
have.
it
they
sounds
have
like that.
contacted them.
You hear stories like obviously TikTok, you can get to hear things like behind all this media stuff, and you think that should be like blasted out. People need to know this, and this is like probably one of the stories I've heard. Like you just keep saying things, and I keep going, what the fuck.
Aye, well, that's the
know.
same.
And
in
I'm
Hyde.
going like,
It's normal to us because we've been living
Aye.
it.
We
I've
look as
watched
if
her.
it comes to us. I think that's
Aye.
the problem sometimes as well. But people look at us and think, "Yours are being too chill about
Aye,
speaking
yous are
about this."
calm.
aye,
Like, how are you not reacting to it? And it's just like, because this is my life.
Because you've already reacted to it in a sense.
Aye,
You're already reacting
I've
to it with
heard
them.
it.
You'll hear in the, well, let
I'll
you
let
hear the
yous hear some
recordings.
of the
You'll hear
recordings.
some of the reactions, but we've spoke about it that much that it becomes a normal day-to-day thing
Well, that's
for
the
us.
same. Like, when I go through what I go through, I talk to people and they go, "Oh, you're," but to you, it's a normal. Like to you, it's just normality. To them, they go, "That's fucking."
We need
me."
to accept it. That's the thing
I
as
would
well.
say
There's
the
nothing
only
else
thing
we
that
can
is
do.
normal is that wheelchair scenario. That's no normal. Like you're they're literally leaving somebody that walked for 21 years
Like knowing that it happened under
and
the roof.
ignoring that I lost my leg function under the care of them. Don't want to speak about it. Don't want to fix it. Had physio messed me about in hospital and out of hospital. Even to get my wheelchair, I was messed about. Like they put the wrong order in for that purpose, and it was purposely done to make me wait weeks. But we know what they were doing. They were trying to, in that time, make my mental health go haywire.
Aye.
I was
Still
stuck in
doing
a house all the time. I was worried that I was going to die. That's just as
Because
honest
if
as
you're
I
in a
can be
mental,
with it.
if you're in fucking a mental hospital, they're getting you're locked away
Well,
from them.
Lavender was waiting on her.
Aye, do you get what I mean?
Aye.
That's the
That's
whole point. If
dangerous.
you get in there,
Aye.
well, it's not about mental health problems. We didn't do anything. It's all on her head.
because
Yeah.
by the sounds of this, it's probably the easiest option that
For
like,
them.
Oh, it's for them to
and
cover.
probably
think-
use. Know what I mean? Like just
I'm just a
film
mum that's going to scream and shout and get ignored.
This is bigger than what we even think it is. Like,
we've
because
got the
we
proof,
keep
that's the
finding
thing,
things
they know
all the
that.
time and going, when
know,
did
because-
that happen? Or when did I end up developing that? Know what I mean? What is that?
Cause I'm just thinking about like misdiagnosing and neglect. I'm thinking like, how many people have died in hospital that
Too many.
just don't know anything that's going on.
Yeah,
Family
that's
don't
it.
know what's going on. Like a friend of mine's gran went into hospital where she broke her wrist. She went in. She was in. They said, "We're going to keep her in. She's just just needing to calm down." Blah blah blah. And she was in 24 hours and then passed away. And I got a phone
my
call
gran
going,
on it.
"You broke her wrist." And I'm going, "How could she have passed away?" And she went, "Oh, she just passed away in her sleep." And I'm going,
Was she quite healthy as well?
well, she had like a, no, she was a wee bit, she had a heart attack years ago, but she was no, like, she wasn't in a hospital, she wasn't
Aye.
like dealing with, like, she had a
No,
nurse
that's
that came and
strange,
kind of helped look after her and stuff, but like, no to just die for
A broken
like
wrist.
that. I mean, that's technically, if you were going to write a death certificate, it would be a broken wrist,
Broken
is what she
wrist,
passed
aye.
away
That's
with.
crazy.
I think it's
That's
different when the
wild.
Algians break their hips and stuff. I worked with the Algians years ago, and they deteriorate really
Deteriorate,
quickly
aye.
when they
Aye.
hit their hips. But that's, I mean, you need that function. You need that to get up, walk, and
Aye.
take care of yourself. But a wrist,
She was meant to come back. She was meant to, because it happened through the night. So she got looked at in the morning because she had one of these sensor things when you fall. So they came and got her, took her away, gave her the x-rays, all that kind of stuff. You know, it can take hours. And it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then they decided, you know what, we're going to keep her in. Just so she's got a bit like, all the troubles are trying to get her home and stuff. So everybody thought everything was fine. And then I'm at work
That's
the next
crazy.
morning and I get a phone call saying that she passed away. And I'm going, like, and it's baffled me. That was close to 18 years ago that happened, and that stuck in my brain because I'm going, was it her head that went, or did somebody give her
A wrong.
I started going conspiracy theory style because I was like, maybe she got medicine she wasn't meant to get.
That's
'cause,
what I
like,
was sitting thinking. I've got to lie.
I was like, maybe
I
something
don't doubt
happened.
that because I've had
Yeah.
medicine given to me multiple times that I shouldn't have been given, or I've been over given medicine or under so I really
Aye.
wouldn't put me.
That's what my head went to. No, straight away, but after kind of thinking, going, she was a healthy person. Fair enough, she was old and not
We know that to be a broken wrist and then
Aye,
not going back
24
out.
years later.
Yeah.
That's
Aye, especially now, like how this is completely kind of different topic here, but when it came to through the whole like pandemic stuff and that, was that something that scared you? Like, because obviously,
Well, basically, what Craig's asking is because when I go, I get the letters through for the
Aye, the letters.
Scottish Government, the SNP. Do not leave your house. You're vulnerable. Don't leave. Just look out the window if you need to go. If you've not got a back door. Did you get them, or you actually felt
Just
You don't get
line
them.
up.
Never got nothing. Didn't even get asked to go for a vaccine. Know that I would have done it, but didn't get asked.
See,
I
I
was
got the
right against them, but winter.
I get the
Oh, if you
threatening
get
letters.
letters, I don't know.
No,
I
I
don't
get.
recall
You've
them.
seen them because they were thick, telling you all the stuff you could do if you're a vulnerable person. So mine's like, you wasn't leave the house. We could get food parcels. I used to get food parcels delivered, so I didn't have to run out of toilet roll. Everybody else, they were giving me my toilet roll. So I had to get your toilet roll kind of food was
No,
delivered
we
to me
never had
because
it
of
like
that. So you must know of. So that's it. Here you go. There's a
That's
mistake right
nothing.
there. Later
I wouldn't even have thought of that.
you're a
I'll be
vulnerable.
honest.
You're a vulnerable
No.
person. So the vulnerable were not allowed to leave the house.
But then she wouldn't have known it back then. So
I would
this
have
is only
known it,
really
I would have
get.
known that I was unwell, but didn't have any
Aye,
diagnosis.
any-
So
any
like
details.
part of anxiety and the fact you're underweight. Like,
You, when did you get your doctor's notes? When did you request them? She's requested them a few times and ignored.
Aye,
Right, so then we
usually
thought, what's going on? But you eventually got them.
I got them in January this year.
This year.
Was it just January? Right. So that's when we've sift through them and found things that
I've
were
got a dodgy
never
hip,
ever.
I know.
Aye. Well, I could have paralysed her as a baby, apparently.
I was born
I've had
with
a
it.
left the wrong way.
Your fault.
Nothing was ever said.
See, that's the thing that annoys me about that. The whole fact that you need to get out. Because I've never looked at mine documents. You obviously look through yours and you're going, it's
scared to
bad
get
that you
mine.
need to. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, you're just assuming that because you take like 16 tablets a day, you're assuming all of them
Aye.
are good for you.
good for me.
No,
But it's
no,
one
they
of ones.
actually aren't.
Aye.
But
You know what I mean? It's
What
the
do
one
you
of
do to
ones
live?
You need
you've
to
got to
trust
do
these
it.
people.
You're trusting
I
them.
know.
Like, I've only, because everything you're saying, I've only had two wee things, 2 slip ups. My doctor, when I first get diagnosed, sent me home with a sick tablet. Says you look like a Simpsons character. You'll be
but
fine.
you are.
And then it was like an hour or 2 later I'd have died because my potassium was sky high because obviously kidneys fronts and that. And then the second one's when I told them my transplant was failing. No, it's no, you'll be fine. Come back in a week if you're still hanging. Went back in a week and that's my GP. Now doing that, I get told you can get your documents through my therapist. They said you should show your local practice.
Yeah.
I'm like, I fucking see them every week. Do you get what I mean?
It's
Like
hard,
for me,
innit?
it's one
'Cause
of
you
the ones
still need
that's, and to me it was a simple wee mistake for some of them. Obviously, it was no simple, big mistakes,
It's
but
mistakes that could have been
it could have been
deadly. though, do you know what I
deadly to
mean?
start
You
with.
think with you how badly they're getting it wrong every time. That they
Aye,
would
that's
be.
what I mean.
It's like, see if you make an ass of something, you go, fuck, right, well,
Well, that's what I was going to say. See,
They're
one
just
of,
messed up there
10%
and
need to
there.
be focused on it.
one of the doctors I've got that made a mistake, and his was a wee simple one. It wasn't a bad thing or anything. Every now he wants me to phone him for every wee tiny
well,
thing.
you get one doctor, let's do that with you right now. I don't think you can name him, but
I've got one doctor,
It's really
Dr.
Aye.
S,
by
we'll
you.
call him Dr. S because obviously can't say full names. He's been my GP practice and he wasn't good at the start, but none of them were. So
Aye.
I if I say that about him, I need to say that about the other
What?
4 or 5 of them.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? Like none of them are good. He started to come around, I would probably say, just at the end of last year was when it was like, right, okay, no, there is actually something really wrong with you, like you're no well. But they kept passing me back to the female doctor and she was so dismissive. She just didn't want to hear it. It was just we all deal with female issues, and it was like, no, we
you
don't
find that
know.
with them.
Like
That annoys me.
females deal with different issues.
I think
Is this-
females are the worst. Like, see if compared to doctors I've seen, I think females are less, what do you call it, nurturing.
They're less empathetic.
The males, I
empathetic,
think.
like,
You'd
they
think that
don't-
the female doctors would go and ask and like, can I separate and get some women training? They've
Yeah.
done about 2 hours training a week for women's health.
I've done my training.
They
on
don't
it and then
understand
just
it. This is
don't
a
own it.
problem.
Like that's
I'll give you an example. I went and get my bloods taken the other day. I was told to go and get testing through something with Leona. So I went and I've got my bloods taken. I've had a full hysterectomy due to the same sort of hormone issues. That's why we knew it was kind of related, didn't we, at first? So I went in and asked them to take it and she went, that's fine, I'll do it. She went, what do you want me to, like, what bloods do you want me to put through for you? And I went, well, you're the doctor. Like,
I'm not fucking the doctor
yeah,
here.
but you're training in wellness. She says, well, I'm a trainee nutritionist and hormone coach. So I'm like, but I'm still training. Like,
You're training, you're no probably.
Bonnie gave me the actual
Aye.
results. So she was like, right, okay. She went, what I'll do, she went, is I'll do some of them, like your iron, things like that. She went, but your whole count, she went, I'll just print it off and post you it. So I've literally just get the post in my hormone test and I'm looking at them and going to go to my tutor and ask my tutor. That's how bad it is. They
Just
do
like
not
knowledge.
have a clue.
half of the hormones she asked to be tested aren't on that sheet of paper.
No, they're missing.
And her progesterone is sky high as well, which is like
I'm
so
expecting that with
dangerous.
having the hysterectomy.
you
I
know, it's
expect
actually
to.
meant to go low.
I know, but I'm expecting them to be well the place right now because I'm less than a year really out of
Yeah,
it. So
okay.
it's something doing right. So I'm kind of getting that. But that shows you how bad the system or doctors are when it comes to women's health. Like, and we can shout about it, they admit it and they do nothing about it. They can go and do extra courses, they choose not to do it. Why? Why?
See,
do
just
they
in
choose not to?
general, right, take away the hormone side of things, not just women in general get treated really terribly when it comes to the hospital or doctors. Like, we just get we get told,
Hypochondriacs.
like we're hypochondriacs, we're being dramatic.
Always
It's
putting
just
it
women
down,
issues.
down to your issue. Like you're like being about. Oh, you just like because my partner, like my wife, she kind of has that. She has that part as well. Going, oh, it's just my heart. Like I'm going. Well, it's kind of more than that. Not I mean, like, and I always say that. Like I've always said this from the get go. Like, see, like the pill and stuff for women. I'm going. Like you're just firing this drug into your body every single day.
They don't explain it or break it down. It's a steroid you're putting into your body. They don't tell you that.
And I said that to her because I've never paid attention. I mean, I'm just a guy just floating about life. I'm going, what is that actually doing? So it's like the pill kind of destroy it, that kills the hormone, something to do with the lining of the womb, or something. I'm going, that doesn't sound great at all. No, I mean, that doesn't sound. Maybe if you had to do it once, but having something like that constantly circulating in your body, I mean, who's to say that's not doing something else? No, I mean, to your body, like messing about your heart, liver, like kidneys. No, I mean,
this is what they offer now is the pill for any sort of hormone
What
problems.
they're offering me, I've got like no hormones. I've got no estrogen, no progesterone. My prolactin's that high. I think maybe partially because of that as well. Like there'll be an element of like that's just gone because the body's gone. I can't cope with this. But the answer to me is the pill as well. Why would I want to take a contraceptive pill when there's HRT options there? Like, and I've never
I've 22
years of my life, and I've never took
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't touch them. Pure against them. Like it's the same as the COVID vaccines. I could argue all day about the both of them. Will not touch it, but that's all they keep giving me or offering me. And I'm like, I'm not taking that. And they've got the cheek to actually write the prescription and try and harm me. And I'm like, I'm not taking that.
It's
like,
as if it's a get out of jail free card.
Basically, if they give it, that's the whole point.
It's just a shut you up here, take that, there you go.
Take that and it
On your
hopefully
way.
helps you. It's like, can I try to get it?
They don't like us because we go, not take that back, maybe I continue this chat. Like, I don't care about the next patient. Like, the next patient can wait 5
we're
minutes. I'm sure
aggressive,
they won't
but,
mind.
I mean-
Like, that sounds pure horrible. I don't care about the next patient, but it's like, I care about the fact that you've let me down for all these years and
you can
you're
tell
only giving me
just by
5 minutes. Like,
the way you talk that you've been through a shitload of stuff.
Aye.
No, I mean, it's not as if like you are just angry at one situation it's happened because it would be away by now. It'd
It's
your head.
continuous,
It's
basically.
just-
It's
it's
just
It's fear.
like
It's
stop.
coming for me as a mum. It's coming
Oh.
from a place of fear. I'm watching her and it's destroying me.
Aye.
But I can't walk about. I've got another 3 boys there as well. I can't walk about destroyed all the
Aye,
time.
aye.
Like
You've
we
got
need to
to
just keep fighting.
Aye. Keep a strong head so that it goes in the right direction.
it's dead easy for me to say keep going, but like keep going when you need a carer to take you out the house at 22. Like that's a bit
that's
messed
it.
up. Like I can't leave my house. I live in a flat. Like it's no
Aye.
exactly the best option. I went into a hypo. We think it was a hypo, didn't we, the other night on a TikTok live. That ended
It's
up.
a hypo again, sorry.
So like my blood sugars dropped way
Right,
too low,
right, okay.
way too low, and I could feel it like kind of coming on for like the first maybe say 10-15 minutes. As I don't feel too good, and I kind of usually know I'm going to go into a fat. I can determine what I'm going to go into, but I couldn't work this out. I'm going, no, I don't know what this is. So I kind of lay back, and you can kind of see me. Like I went back through the recording to kind of see how I go because I kind of black out a bit. And I'm like, what is going on in that? And everybody was just talking. I just kind of sat there, like spaced out for like 5-10 minutes. Like I didn't.
Didn't realize it was going on.
It was as if I wasn't there. And then I just started getting into like a fit. And everybody was like phone.
Everybody sitting live watching it.
Nobody really knew where I was and all that, like what my address was to get him to do it. My granddad was in bed, he couldn't hear it, and it was growing because I turned the phone down in the living room so he can't hear it. It was just a nightmare, and I'm going, what actually happens realistically if I'm not on the phone to anybody and nobody's in my house?
Just left.
And
That's
I
it, you're
require
just
my
left to
injections,
yourself.
I would die. Like I actually would die.
If she
And
doesn't get
that's
an injection, she will
like
die.
actually terrifying to think that. Like, and they actually sat and they put the fear in me. Because I was fine about the whole idea. I just float through life really as well. Like I don't really care much, like about much. But that they sat me down with the endocrinologist and she went, you need to take your steroid. If you miss it, you like this won't be good for you. Like it would kill you. And I was just like,
And then denied that conversation.
and then admitted it on recording.
See, that's a lie because I've had this steroid conversation in their aggressive way. Every one of them, every person you've ever spoke to takes steroids, they're aggressive way because they need to be, because they need to drill into you. You need to take it or it can go wrong. Obviously.
See, my argument with them was like, you're drilling this into me right now to take this steroid, but for months you had me home with only quarter of what I required. Like, it's hypocritical. You can't sit there and do that to somebody that's sitting there going, I was telling you I needed this steroid. Like, you're arguing a point with me that I already know. Like,
You were put
you're
on
just
a
putting
really
the fear-
high
aye,
dose,
just
weren't
putting
you?
the fear in me.
I think, like I said to her, the more you looked at it with the heart issue,
What was
she was
that,
told.
45 milligram?
Yeah. No, she said, did she not say 50? She said it was actually 50.
I was under the belief it was 45.
And it was 50, she admitted that. But she was then put on that, and then they come in and says that part of her heart was missing. They couldn't find it on the scan. Then her walls were thickening and her arteries.
No, my arteries were thinning and the
Were thinning,
walls
walls were thickening.
Aye.
So then the steroid was then taken away for her again and put down to half a dose. Like, I think what's wrong, and I've said this to her, is she's getting that many autoimmune conditions now that they don't know how to treat her.
So they're just
literally
throwing everything.
It's like, see,
Taking
every
it and
medication
put
to
it on.
fix it is going to hurt her in another way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So whoever made the first mistake, let's just not talk about it. Let's just
Aye.
ignore it and
Aye,
just
just
keep covering
go
it
to the
up
next
because
one.
I'm not getting the blame. Aye.
Because the mere mistakes they make, the first person that's made the first mistake's quite
Well,
good.
that's why she's now in all different hospitals. She's got appointments for away next year. Just left to next year to February for some of them. But they're in different hospitals now, so it's like, we'll blame that hospital, no, we'll blame that one, no, that one made a mistake.
See, that pisses
That's
me
what they
off.
know legally, that's what
during
they're
this
going
time,
with.
right, that it doesn't require them to sit and watch me with a feeding tube if they're training me how to use it. So they've gave me this through all these months that I've already been out and the months up until the next appointments. And
Aye.
maybe that would have helped a bit. Like, we had a whole conversation with them about it could have helped.
Aye.
And then the hormones, they could have balanced them out for me during this period of time as well. Like, they're just playing about with it now. Like, there's no need in what they're actually doing.
Aye.
That's what it sounds as if it's all made up, because people are like, well, why would they not just fix that? That's a small
know,
thing to
'cause
fix.
it
But yeah, I
sounds
can then bring up
intentional,
results and say, well,
Aye.
why? What's your progesterone results? Because I guarantee you don't know that at a 22-year-old. Like,
Aye.
it's no normal.
See, it annoys me that they're moving you about. That's my petty hate when they move you about hospitals. I don't fucking get that.
I know why they're doing it.
But I have to go and see a doctor, the same doctor that's in the Queen that I go to. I have to see him in Stop Hill now. Even though he's got to be in the Queen any other days, but I have to go to Stop Hill.
Makes no sense.
And I'm like, what's the point in that?
No,
like,
they're
they
just-
should stick to one hospital. Your consultants are all at one hospital.
I just kind of bouncing her about. So
Aye,
that, like
but
you
that's
said,
what they're
That's
doing with
it.
you.
I think that idea bounced me out because they weren't doing that to begin with. The first time they didn't even contact me for the 4 months I was out. The only people I had out was psychiatrist, psychology, and physio and occupational. But they were only about for a couple of weeks and then they left again. Nothing came through for any appointments. The GP didn't even contact me or anything. It was just left. Like, literally left to just fade away and die. Like, that was their motto. But for me now, it's like they're no want me to be in the one hospital, because to move me about makes it harder for me to then
Fight it and then-
I'm not just taking one hospital, I'm taking how many consultants. That
Four at
then
this
looks
point.
even worse. It looks like I'm making it up.
Aye.
And I feel like I'm begging people to also believe me at the same time.
Aye,
It's
aye.
like,
that's something you shouldn't have to do. It's something that shouldn't fucking have to do. You've got your documentation, haven't you?
everything.
So is it missing? Because I've heard stories of that when I've looked into it.
A lot of it.
So if you requested and that, like fought them on it and go, why is that missing? Or is that something that's the legal team are
Actually-
going to kind of take a hold of?
They will take it, but I did actually contact what do they call it again for the records. I can't remember them. There's something for the records anyway. Like, they're the actual, like, the people that deal with them basically.
Yeah.
I says to them, look, like, half
What,
of
the
them.
health board?
Aye. Like, I actually contacted them and get straight through to them. Like, I didn't think it was going to be that easy, but it was.
Aye.
It was probably the easiest thing out of the whole process was to contact them. And the woman was absolutely disgusted on the other side of the phone. She's like, no, that is the normal. Like, that is actually neglect. Like, because they don't know. They can't look back when you were maybe, say, 13, 14-year-old and say, right, okay, she had that same problem back then, so what is it now? Like, there's no history there to look back on.
just
And your
gone.
history is the
Aye.
biggest thing. Your history and your family history.
Aye.
That's the first two things you look at.
Yeah, because then they'll
I've
know
not got
what you've
that.
had, like what treatment you've had, or what
Aye.
they've ticked off. You know what I mean? Because obviously, I would imagine like the doctors and kind of specialists would be having a wee list in their head, or don't they want to tick off to make sure you've not got this, make sure you've not got that. And if they don't have that record, then they're going to hit out with the part of starting again. And
That's what we do. We
Do you
go
know
round
what?
in circles.
I knew that
Say
they did.
this,
I
there
knew
and
they
there.
didn't care when I didn't get a reaction for them. That's
Aye, if
because
they're not
see-
reacting to you.
See, if I'm meeting them for the first time, I would go into it with a very, like, I would brief it down for them. Look, this is
Aye.
what's going on. Are you going to help, or are you going to just be the same? Like, am I wasting 2 weeks again? Because if we are, let me know.
Aye, there
I
could be
don't want my
phones.
hopes up for nothing again.
That's what we
Um,
do. We change specialist every 2 weeks.
every
Once
2
we went
weeks,
through a
yeah.
full team.
I went through two.
When she, I'm talking about like,
And the one department.
aye.
but
See,
that was over the course of 2 stays. That's what I mean, just nasty.
That's scary, that, because as I said, I've my consultants and that, you get some that are dicks. They know they're dicks, they just do their job, but they'll do it right, but they're just dicks. You get some that are very helpful, but yours
See,
just
she's got
seem...
one specialist, by the way. It's the first one that I've ever seen her, and he backed off it. That's the whole 2 stays. He's not come near her since. But he said, I taking her on as an outpatient with a feeding tube. And obviously, he only then said no because she wouldn't sign what she needed to sign for it. But he was happy to do that. But it was as if he tried to take himself away from it. He's like a private hospital.
He
wasn't
actually diagnosed the Addison's disease. See if it actually wasn't for him, they would have just allowed me to continue. I actually wouldn't be here. That is just as straight as it is because I was in a crisis. So it's my cortisol levels are like way that I don't produce any. I was going to say they're way too low. I just don't produce that. And my adrenal glands are suppressed as well. So your pituitary gland secretes your cortisol, and your adrenal glands obviously they talk to each other. They kind of they know how to connect with one another, and that just runs all your adrenal and that through your body. So if you've not got that, you've not got anything keeping you
going. Functioning.
It literally takes all your functions away for you.
I could probably see you end up becoming a bloody doctor with this.
I know.
Some things you're committed with there, and we don't do a lot of big words.
We don't do big words. This is a stupid podcast. We don't do big I'm an accountant. I don't even know the big words in that. I just make them up as I go along. But it just seems, as you're saying, it does seem as if you're making it up because there's so much went wrong. It is something like you're thinking. Like you watch one of the drama series where something goes wrong next week, and then next week somebody else is trying to cover it up. Somebody's trying to cover it up as if it's that bad, but it is like that. And you've got all your documentation, which obviously we'll get into part 2 and everything. We'll speak about more about that because.
What about MPs, the political side of things?
So I've tried to contact MPs on all different levels, like MSPs, MPs, all of them.
No answer
for any of them. Left voicemails, left emails, nothing. I've tried to contact the actual hospital board, like the complaints for it. They're just messing us about, aren't they? Like I've got my complaint in for both of them. I'm writing the third one up now because obviously it's multiple stages with multiple issues. So I thought get the feeding tube one in because that's important that I get that here and now. So I separate that because if you add it into it,
it's going to take a lot longer.
They're going to just dismiss it in this big line of what I need. So I done that. Contacted the only people that I've no contacted. I contacted PASS and everything, and they're just no help. Like they don't help anybody. They just send.
See, MD's come into her and they've listened to it, and then she's thought of it and right, they're listening. Then they go away and lie, and she's got it in recording that they have lied. You don't let them back in, so it's closing doors behind her with very little doors to open.
Because you obviously have seen people thinking they've got to help you. They're all listening, going, "That's great," and then they walk away and write something completely different. And you've got the recordings. You're going, "I'm not fucking trusting you. I can't trust. You can't trust somebody that makes it up."
The one thing that always sticks in my mind is the last consultant that came into me was actually, I'm going to just straight up, he was evil. Like he was actually like really, really bad. I'll let you hear that recording because that's probably one of the worst ones. I obviously was like screaming and begging, like, please don't put me out here. Like, I know I don't go on with your team. I know that I'm not going to get on with you, but that doesn't mean that you don't make me better. Like, I'm no understanding this whole, if you don't trust us, like, because that's what he kept saying to me, if you don't trust us, we can't help you. And I'm going, why would I trust you if you're lying to me?
Well, that's
like, it's like if you are doing it right, then if they're doing their job correctly and they're treating you properly, then there wouldn't be this clash that you're having with them.
I would be questioning them.
Like it's very common sense that there's something going wrong here because obviously you're clashing with all these professionals and you're not doing it because you think they're wrong. It's because they're doing it wrong. It's physically they are physically doing it wrong. So like it's like when we had Holly on. It's like. It's as if people think that you want to be no well. I mean, as if you like they think you're at it because you want to be no well.
It's the latter. You've caused
100%.
it. It's always that's the second one. You must have done something to cause that. It must be your diet. It must be your sleep. It must be you've eaten. It's all different things like that. And you just think, mate, you could wake up tomorrow with an autoimmune condition and you like your whole life would be turned upside down, mate. Like that's.
Who wants to sign a house and do nothing?
Who actually?
That's the one I always said. Who wants to?
Enjoys that?
I get spoke about making our money and stuff like that, about no working and that because of my illness. And it's like one of the ones you say that, you go, who wants to be unwell? Who wants to not make money? Who wants to be sitting in a house? Who wants to go out and do something and feel like absolute shit? No, you'd rather just be fucking normal. So that's why you're begging for this help. It's so they help you. You can get back to a normal lifestyle.
I don't want to get to 30 and still be fighting the same fight.
Well, that's it. You don't want
I
to.
don't see a future like that. That's
constant negative.
But that's the problem you've got
surrounding you
with the NHS. Can't get into too much detail because it's a court case that has been done, but you can't speak about it. I know somebody that had to fight the NHS because had an accident at work, and ended up they had a problem after the accident. Basically, he was always going to have an impairment because of it, but it turns out the hospital didn't help with that as well, and then they were fighting it until the work that he used to work for were taking half the blame. Straight away, the hospital went, right, we'll take the other half and we'll pay him it. So until basically somebody else went, I'll take half the blame.
Professional.
And that's
Even just in you saying that, like we can talk about it, but we can't talk about it too much. It's that putting a gag on people.
Aye.
Like, yes, you were done wrong, but you can't say nothing. Don't tell them. You can't put that out in the public, because guess what? The public will, right now, I don't know, people are kind of blinded to it. I'm not going to lie.
People
Like,
are too interested in TikTok drama.
Aye.
That is the pure
And the fact that
like,
it's-
honest answer to that.
it's not just that, but
carry
like
on,
you
it's
have
what
said,
was done
people
is
want to
made up.
trust.
Aye.
And see if you take that one wee bit away from people, that's going to put them into a panic.
Because you've
That's-
got obviously this country, especially Scotland. If you just take Scotland with the SNP and stuff like that, like the NHS is such a big factor in our country and our kind of benefits. You know what I mean? And if you find out that it's hard for people to believe that these people that are looking after us
They're supposed to help you and
supposed to help you,
are that corrupt.
and because I can't imagine you're a 1 in a million case. You know what I mean? There's got to be more people
No,
out
there is
there.
people. She's
that
had
are-
contact with
I've
people in the
actually
same
had
situation.
contact with another 3 girls.
Aye.
Now,
So
when I
that's
say
terrible that
I-
you're saying that.
hospital,
3
same
girls.
team.
When I say that I've read this story, like air and air, like for all 3 of them, I mean in air and air, because I was like in disbelief. I thought that they had actually been watching my lives for a while
Aye, and then make
and were repeating my story
Aye.
back to me. That's how on point it was.
so
Like
similar.
right down to the conditions I was asking them to check that I was getting told no for. These girls, well, one of them, she actually has gastroparesis. That's it. I can never say it, I always mess it up. And she was in one hospital and they moved her to the one that I was in. And when she went in the first day, they went, no, you've not got that. You've got functional gut disorder, basically, like what they're trying to say with me. Yet she has the actual scan diagnosing that. Like it's not as if it was just like suspected.
I think they're doing a
It's
trial. I'm not
diagnosed.
gonna lie.
Aye, it sounds like that. It sounds like
You keep trying to get
the
you got
girls.
research studies. No doubt.
See, I did research studies, but mine's the simple ones. Like I went on a bike while on dialysis. See, one of you stuff like that, simple stuff. But with yours, I'm guessing it's no wee simple stuff like that. They're wanting you to properly try certain things that can
just
cause
not
more
willing.
harm, obviously. Because obviously it's stuff that they've no. You're doing it with a
They
study.
hated me, right? Because I was working at some of the things that were wrong with me, and they were coming and saying, "Well, give you this medication." I'm going, "Wait a minute, that's just
not
treatment for
gonna-
something." And I'm going on and I'm looking and I'm going, "They're trying to treat that so that that's then it's masked,
Aye,
so
aye.
Yeah.
that problem's away." Now I understand the fixing the problem, but we need to admit the problem's there before
Aye.
anyone knows the
yes.
patient what you're fixing.
Aye.
Like I don't just want to be taking stuff and then people go, "What you on that for?" "I don't know, my doctor said." How silly that sounds. Like, all right, okay, so you just trust your doctor to put stuff in your body. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. I think they're all paid actors at this point.
Aye.
Well, that's it, because it does seem like a pure drama thing, with like as if they're taking the piss at you. That's what it generally seems, as if they're taking the piss, as if they're finding it funny, in a sense. Because
Oh, we do laugh about it.
do you get what I mean? It's as if
You've
they're
heard
finding
them?
it funny.
They
We've
go
heard
into
them
the
shut
hole and they
door
laugh at
burst out laughing and all that at me after I've took seizures and stuff, and I was sitting in bed going, I don't actually trust being in here with you.
Aye.
Like, how what was I
The
like?
First time I
had
actually
my mum
came to
staying with
bed,
me.
aye.
I refused to let her leave for
time.
6 weeks.
Aye.
I was like, I'm going, if you're going home, I'm going home with you. I'm not
You
staying
don't
in
know what
here.
they're going to do to you.
Aye, you can't.
That was after they choked us with water. Went into a seizure and our nurse came in and she's shouting she's in a panic attack. My pal was an ex-paramedic. So she's looking at it, she's going, wait a minute. But she's obviously in friend mode at this point.
Aye,
She's
aye.
like, I had to click to like ex-paramedic mode like that. Like,
Aye.
because I was looking and thinking, no, this isn't going right. Like, she's going to end up killing you. And my pal actually had to pull her away from me. Like, she was still pouring her water as my pal was dragging her away. I've
But
come
even a
back
panic
now
attack,
covered.
like what was
Why
over
is
doing
what
that?
I've got to do?
Especially
sugar-
ramming it down
it's sugar
somebody's
you
throat.
need.
That was full scale shaking and everything.
Aye.
And she's gone, when I came back, she's gone, it was just a panic attack. I mean, we give water to people with panic attacks. I was like, I'm
Never heard
soaking in
that.
it. Like,
Aye.
you just made me pass out for about 3 minutes. Are you all right?
Aye.
The thing that's really
I felt so confused.
it's fucking pissing me off as you're a young lassie when I started. Now, when I started and I was 18 at the time, I was no babied, but every nurse looked after me to like a certain degree where it was like a baby to
The
them.
mum, aye,
Like,
aye,
every
son.
one of them mum me. Like, because I started on Christmas Eve to everything. I woke up on Christmas Day in there. And basically every one of them mum me for that point. Screamed at the doctors if they spoke to me like an adult. They'd scream at them.
Your first interaction was more or less thinking you're going to die.
My doctor walked in.
Well, I said, that's
Because I was in the Western Infirmary. You've probably not been there. That was years ago. That was used to be the student hospital. And even Christmas Day, there was students in. Doctor came in. Woke up Christmas morning. We always remember it. A DKNY. We gift set with a wee duck and everything. It's just silly things like that. Doctor came in. Because I had tubes coming on it. We know the machine. Didn't know anything about it. You've got kidney failure. Said in a few things. Blah de blah.
See you later.
See you later and walked out the room. Now I was 18 at the time. Christmas Day
wow.
waking up. So I burst out greeting going, what the fuck?
Is this fatal?
It's fatal. Am I got to die? And I'm sitting in my head. Nobody near me. My mum and I had to get home. The nurse walked in straight away and I started pure bawling. I says, am I got to die? I'm like, exactly, what am I got to die? And she went, no, what are you talking about, son? Come and give me a cuddle. And I said to her, I just heard was the door slam, get me here, you! Screamed at him. And that's the way I've always been. And I'm getting emotional thinking about it. Because nurses to me, like my nurses, and have always been baby. Even when I get them now, they still baby me. And you were a child at the time, so the fact that they're doing that just pissing me off to a certain degree.
I asked them straight up, was I going to die multiple times to multiple consultants, multiple nurses? You can actually hear them. Some of them rolled their eyes at me. Some sniggled. Nobody ever said, no, you're going to be all right. Nobody ever said, no, you're going to get out of here. I was actually like begging them at one point, going to please tell me, like, am I going to live?
Because that's
I don't understand what's going on.
That's
in
the
my
main question you want to know. You want to know, am I going to live and can you help me?
It sounds extreme to say you're going to live when you've not been diagnosed with anything that you think, right, okay, that could kill you, apart from the Addison's obviously, but that's under control too, what we know. But at the same time, it's the what we don't know, that's what scares you into that thought of, am I actually going to live through this or no? Because there's that much going on in my body that I'm that complex of a case that a whole hospital of doctors don't understand what's wrong with me. It's like, how are we going to fix me then? Because at this point we need to fly people in to help me.
Yes, it's I'll fly you places and get you to the right people.
We need new doctors.
Because what they're saying about the whole not being able to walk like properly thing, because again,
they're ignoring it.
So
Literally
they
ignoring it as if it's not there. Like,
just know what
you're
you're
walking pins and needles you've got. I mean,
when I first came out of the hospital, they were telling me that they were coming to my house for appointments for the psychiatry. They're now trying to send out appointments for me to go down to the clinic. I phoned them and went, I'm in a wheelchair, how am I going to do that? Or we'll make Dr. D aware. And I nearly said his name there.
You can kind of cut wee bits, that's fine.
Right. And he's seen me in the wheelchair. He knows I've got a wheelchair. That's just crazy to say. I'm going to go and say to him. No, he already knows. And from there, all the appointments have been, right, you need to come here, you need to go here, and all over the place. And I'm going, I can't get to these without a carer. Like, they've not gave me any transport.
Try to
They've
get you down the stairs.
Because I'm entitled for them to come and actually take me out of the house in a chair and into the ambulance and then take me. Nobody's doing any of it.
Very, very basic.
Because that's what they used to do for dialysis. You couldn't make
I think
it.
you can
the
phone
ambulance
up
would
for
come.
it. I think she's unaware of it. I think you can phone up.
Like a kind of like a service.
But the hospital usually arrange it for you.
They
Like
arrange it for you.
I never
I
had to
thought you
arrange
had to
it.
phone them to arrange it. Right, okay.
No, the hospital used to. So basically, I get picked up and dialysis 3 times a week. It was the ambulance that done it, and then there was one guy that ended up joining who was in Ferguson, and he was in a wheelchair, so we had to change the ambulance. We all changed, and he was one to get picked up in his wheelchair as well, so he went in the back.
Okay.
And that's the way they should be organising that for you to come. Because if they know they're supposed to come to you can't. That's their job, to organise you to get proper because they've got them there. They've got the ambulance buses, so nice people to drive them, and they've got the.
What was it? Was it a bus? Because she needs to get into like an electric chair to get her down the stairs. Was that an ambulance or a?
It was an ambulance, but see, the ambulances are only quite ambulances. If that makes sense, it's like the ambulance servicey type.
That's
ones,
the one
like
I was using.
Like, it's just it's pure white, all white. And
Aye,
it's
that's
just
the one
got
I
the
used to
long
use.
windows around it.
Aye, so that's what I was using, this thing, mate, and they used that for a wheelchair, and that's what they did. But the fact that they should be arranging it, if they know they have to come to you and they can't, that's what they
This
fucking.
is where I keep saying
It's as
it's
if
like
they can look at documents now, but and say, see, she had to come to the clinic, she wasn't that unwell, and that's the way
to
I'm
catch
looking
you
at
out.
that.
Aye.
It's like, why? Like, nothing's changed for the start of the year. Did they think it's just going to magically change now with no medical treatment? Because
So I do
like,
try to get you in it. We're having the brothers need to come.
I
You
love
need to
it.
help her
I love
downstairs.
it, but I dread after it. And it's no fair
You'll be
in
in bed
any
for
of them
days.
either. Like,
Because you've got
this
to
falls
drag
under my
everybody
family
out.
too.
it's hard work.
We can only fit 3 of us in a car if my wheelchair's there, so then there's 2 brothers that
Can he?
can't commit a
Or you
family
need to get them
do it
looked
for us.
after.
Like,
Or
And do you know what the worst part about it is? Because I've just had to read in my pit form, because I was on the list mount. You don't need to get it if you're getting it, but you tried for PIP.
Yep.
Are you getting it?
just being entitled to it.
Just being entitled, because I'm saying, obviously, for the way you're saying, you should be in the fucking top notch of everything.
Aye,
And they
big
should be
time,
fucking trying to give you a car for it, for the
They
fact
shut
of
down
that.
3 her claims. That's her now just getting it. So this was a while ago you put in for it, but because she didn't have a passport and we couldn't get her out to get her the picture for the passport, she couldn't officially go through, so they shut it down. But this one's went through. She got a good team this time that listened to her,
That's good then.
and they done the
Except
assessment
that
whilst in
only can
hospital,
I-
didn't
Aye,
they?
it was.
There's a
it?
bit recently.
Because it's silly things like that can help you, because you can get the car out to it and stuff like that, and the cars are all
And a
accessible now.
dappy car.
Because that's the thing, we've been kind of looking at it, and you're going, that's the only good thing. But as you're saying, it's a struggle for your family. Your mum's got to come out, your brother's got to come out, and it's like a full day trying to get you. And it's no you're going out to fucking have a good bit of fun. It's you just doing a normal
You'd literally
lifetime
me
thing.
be going shopping. That
Aye.
in itself, I need to go into one of the wee trolley things in Asda and go about with it so that I've got something to carry.
Aye.
And that, and like, it's
But it's bad that they've let you go to that extent. I just
Aye.
think because
How
it's not like you're
embarrassing it
fucking.
actually is to be
it's-
22 and going about money and as I see
well-
the amount of dirty looks that
Aye,
you get for
'cause
people
you
as if you
do-
shouldn't be in
Right,
it.
that's my
Aye.
pet hate, and we'll get into it a wee bit. It's the fucking what do you call it? The illness, disability, the fucking you can't see it disability. There's a name for it.
Aye, what is that?
Invisible.
An invisible disability.
Disability, and that's what annoys me. So you're using that because you physically can't. But the amount of people that look at you in disgust,
Aye.
like it's fucking disgusting, and I think it's a joke getting. And you're using that because you need it, but people think you're a lazy bat. You're something at Benidorm, like we fucking mad using the scooter. That's what it's like. They're looking at you like that
No,
as if they go,
It doesn't help as well when you're feeling that embarrassed about it, and because I've got medical trauma as well, I take a lot of like flashback moments,
Aye, like
and it'll
PTSD
always,
and that,
and it'll always take me back to the moment of the what you call them, like the physiotherapist standing. He told me to just stand up. I mean, you learnt to walk when you were younger, when you were a child, so surely you should remember how to walk.
That's wild, isn't it?
I says, excuse me, like,
Aye.
are you for real? And he's like, well, I mean, it's all in your head. It's only FND.
See,
I mean, the only
that-
person that can walk and teach yourself to walk again is you. And I was
Aye.
like, no, this is what you're here for. You're literally
Aye.
the physiotherapist.
because I don't get because we had Gigi on.
Aye.
She had to learn to walk
She had to
again.
learn
And she
to
got
walk.
to the physiotherapy
Aye.
and that.
She had Crohn's and then
See the
Aye.
minute that they say, aye, we're going to give you help, they need to admit liability for it happening
That's,
under
that's
their
what,
roof.
see right now,
They
that's what I was
can't.
going to get into a bit. It seems to me they keep putting you off and no doing stuff for you for the fact they wanted you to say, see if you signed that dodgy contract they try to give you. I think
didn't
that's
get
when
in
they'd
trouble.
gave you everything and then went, right, here you go, but we'll do this for you, you've asked for, we'll do that, but you keep your mouth shut about everything else.
I don't even believe that, because even you read the contract, it tells you, see, even if the feeding tube had to dislodge at night,
They weren't fixed
she wasn't to go in and go near them, she was just to sit in pain.
Aye.
And
I mean,
if the
to sign
feeding tube-
something
and if
like
the
that's
feeding
crazy.
tube didn't work, then we weren't going to try any other options. We were going to go back to forceful oral eating, and I was just going to need to suffer through that for the foreseeable. And I was like, I'm not doing. You're mental, like.
As well, because the feeding tubes are super important. Like, the fact that have they admitted you need one though,
I've got the whole assessment.
and
as
you've
well
not
that-
had it yet. Like,
I-
you've
I-
not-
We
I
actually
stole
have
the
a
form.
story with that.
I had
Aye,
to steal
there's-
the form.
Aye.
They had it in the book outside, and I went out and we were nosing through it. I went, oh, that's assessment's done, they're going to come in and
I
give you
didn't know it was in
Then
it.
they came in and done what they done, so I just took it. The nurse came in and tried to, like,
I know she was
grab it
fixing
out
my
my
arm, and the other nurse came in and went, "What have you got there?" And I was like, "Why is this saying that I meant to have already had a feed, and
Aye.
I've got another feed that's why is it up so quickly as well?" Because we went for just say 100 milligram to 200, so it was like very quick and jumping. We went to do it slow
Aye.
and steady, so it was as if they were already trying to tarnish the whole feeding tube before even giving me it, because my body wouldn't have coped with that amount of feeding me dead quick like that. And the lassie turned round and she's like to my mum, what have you got? She's like, oh, the feeding tube contract. So we're speaking about that and whatever. And she walked here and my stepdad then was holding it. She tried to actually grab it out my stepdad's hand. So my mum took it back, she tried to grab it out of her. And my mum was like, what you doing? Even the other nurse turned round and said her name and went, stop it now. Enough. Like, she was embarrassed by it. She was just
Aye.
like, stop doing that. Like, I could tell, like, because she was getting all fidgety and all that, like, put my hand on it and looking as if.
Aye, so
that
they were
was
trying to
stressing.
like sabotage it to make it as if you don't need one.
Aye, so basically
Aye.
because it's urgent that you need it, so it's a fucking corrupt to the
It's-
core.
it's
So as we
mental.
said, there was this when you've not announced it. This is a part one. We will do a part two, and that's when we'll get into more detail. We'll listen to readings. We'll read the stuff in that for the fact that as you said, does this sound like a fucking drama?
Aye.
It does,
That's
man.
a
It
lot.
genuinely, you think it's a fucking
I
drama,
mean,
but it's
even
not.
just like taking it down a peg, like just the whole fact that you've went from, because you were in the hospital there for a good while, weren't you? Like 3 months or something.
It was
Like,
6 weeks the first time, and then
I mean, how can you walk into a hospital?
11 weeks, 11
nearly
weeks the
12.
second time.
It was
And
going
how-
to roll over into like the full circle of specialists again, so they couldn't have her going back to the first specialist again.
Aye. It's the fact that even just the basic thing of you walking into hospital and then getting wheeled back out, you know what I mean? It should be the other fucking way about.
Aye.
Is
Yep.
is the bit that's
Even the police know.
disregarding-
The police have come in and threatened her as well.
Aye,
Now,
so we'll
that's
speak
a
about that
big
because
thing,
we've
aye.
got that. I seen the bit, I didn't.
Big
That's
thing,
what I'm saying. That was one of my deals I reposted. Just didn't watch it because I'd rather hear it for you.
Yeah.
Get the shock factor because it's fucking scary. The fact that,
I'm kind of okay.
but you've got to remember it's as much as obviously your missus is force. It's all they're all tied together. The NHS,
Aye.
everything,
Aye.
police, they're all tied together.
It's horrible because you've got your good people within all of these organisations
Aye.
that are genuinely there for the right reasons and want to help the public,
Aye.
and then you've got the other half that just ruin it. Like,
See-
and there's nothing the good people can do because they're silenced.
And that's the
Aye, well,
problem.
you have to,
man.
aye.
Like,
You're
because,
gagged.
like I have never had like
A bad-
I was got to say it sounds as if I'm saying that you're fucking thing, but I have never had a bad experience with all my. The fair do is, as I said, someone have been cunts come in and just went that and walked out like
Luckily
the way
enough
they
for
are.
yours is quite a basic.
Mine's is basic,
kidney
but
You've got
kidney
other people
failure.
that I would say that
Aye.
you could probably go and you could do what you wanted
aye,
to do with
but
them,
my
but
consultants have
aye,
always
it's
been like
different.
kind of thorough, always thing with always nurses.
See if it's straightforward, they're fine with that. The problem is the complex cases that admit they're
And
not got a
why-
clue
But that's what I'm
cause
saying. It feels
problems.
like with you, they're fighting it themselves.
Instead of going like that, right, we've got this wrong, let's fucking figure out a new plan.
Fix it,
Let's
aye.
start
Because
clean
if they
slate.
could have generally done it for the start.
Clean
Went,
slate, let's fucking...
we're going to try and fix it. Let's set you down. We'll have you in here. We'll try this. We'll try that. We'll sit and we'll speak to you. Blah, blah, blah. Something's went wrong along the way.
It's probably because more life news became like there's consequences and there's I's needing dotted, there's T's needing crossed, where they can't sit down to you as just a person to person and go, right, with some other stuff up to now, we've made an arse of this, let's start again, because then, like you're saying, they're admitting liability for things and they're just trying to cover their asses legally. Instead of
See if this was
health
just a
and health.
couple of little
Life means
mistakes that I
nothing to them.
actually wouldn't have cared. Like,
Aye, aye.
honest to God, I would have been like, whatever, everybody makes a mistake here and there, but it's the type of mistakes that they're making. Like, they could have killed me. They could still.
Aye.
Like,
Still-
that's, I'm still no exactly.
We could
Yeah,
leave the
yeah.
night. This might all be a bit too much when she goes back tonight. I might get her up the stairs and she'll be knackered and she'll go into a crisis when I leave. She doesn't live with me.
Aye.
So if my dad's at work and she's in herself, who gives her that injection?
But the problem here is they look at a normal Addison patient and go, I bet they don't really do that though. Like, I get they get tired and that, but it's no as fast acting as mine. Like, I could go out for 20 minutes and come back in and go into a seizure because I've been out. That tells you that something else is triggering that.
Aye.
We don't know whether it's the hormones, we don't know, but they just keep going FND.
It's a knock-on
You
effect,
don't
isn't
diagnose
it?
FND until you've ruled everything else out. You're not allowed to do it. So why do we keep doing it?
As if you said there, it's a knock-on effect. That's exactly what it is.
As our
Every wee
body's
similar
just
thing.
clean up
Aye.
at times. Like it's like we're not
Because your
getting
body
help
can
here.
only do so much. Your body crashes. Mine's used to crash. You generally just sit there and that'd be you. You bit out, your body's gone and you're shutting down for 15, 20 minutes. Don't know what's going on. And that's what's happened to you. But as you're saying, you could run yourself at times.
That's what probably scares me the most.
Aye, you're sitting yourself and they're not doing anything to help. Like for instance, like silly things, they should be fucking getting you in straight away.
Somebody phoned for an ambulance the other night. Police showed up at my door. Police
No
sent
ambulance in sight.
No ambulance with them. No, luckily my granddad had we managed to get him up, so he came running in and he managed to get me. It was Lucas that actually brought me back down, like carrying that. And probably about maybe 5-10 minutes later, I was like, I feel all right again. I was tired, but I was like, no, I'm stable, I'm good. And then the police showed up banging my door as if like I'd done something wrong.
Right,
Like, that's
Don't make
actually how
sound
it
cheeky if
felt,
you're
as if
knocked the fuck out.
How
What the
was
fuck
that?
banging your door going to date
How
them?
was I going to let them
the
in?
sounds of that, like, so the fact the police, so they phoned her at like 999, asked for an ambulance, gave your address and your name, and obviously the police have showed up. It kind of sounds to me like they've got you in a kind of...
And a name marked in a
blacklist,
sense,
like
a blacklist.
Aye.
It does, to be honest with you, that's
which-
what's got to say there.
Which
But
again,
well,
it's like
Police
something...
tried to say I took an overdose.
Aye,
So I'm then sitting there going, this isn't stopping.
aye,
This is where it's starting. That like
Aye,
I think I've
it's the
already been
start,
through it.
it's-
This is the start of it now. This is me speaking out publicly is where it starts.
aye. And that's just
And
like as
that's
if...
just
She's already banned. She can't go live back on the night. She's been off for a
25
week.
past 10 the night.
I
Because
thought
she
you
was-
get banned within 3 minutes. If we're going
Yes,
live,
aye, that's so
we're
stupid.
on live and basically I didn't realise he was driving and I showed like we're just driving. We're on the way to the motorway and it went banned. Dangerous act and all. I went, he was driving, you seen he was raging.
So
But
I
that,
appealed that.
Aye, I did appeal like it, not back.
not bad, I know.
Even
mental.
that, see, during the day, it's an actual person watching it. They would have seen
As
it.
I've
They would
never,
have just
we don't know
clicked,
it, but we
I
try.
think they pick and choose. They do
Aye.
pick and choose.
We'll look at some of the crazy people that are on it and they just love it. They're just like,
Aye, let
I
them
know
do all the
that.
mad shit.
We were
Brings
talking
all
about
the
that.
money into TikTok.
What do you call that, Jay Jackson? We were talking about the other day, man. Because we've got a song starting here. Craig is a beast.
Just, I keep hearing it all the time.
See, we're like, he's like, I'm waiting for you to do a voice for that. And I went, I'm going when you're not seeing he's walking, I'm going to video him doing it. But I think that's what TikTok's like. You're trying to talk about your stuff, which is serious, and then they're just
I
banning
was
you.
watching a live this morning.
No,
it
loud
was-
the truth out there,
honest to
remember
God, I
that?
can't
No.
remember who it was.
Don't
With.
like
I think it was like that Senorita's live, right? So I was watching that, and there had been a lot of like drama kicking off. Really,
you're talking about
Did you see the
Yeah, I've
live?
seen the wee kind of clips. Yeah.
That's a lot of the time I see the clips, but I caught the
Stop.
live this time, so I'm like, okay, I'll just put it on whilst I'm sitting getting ready. I put that phone down and it was on like maybe say 40-50 views. We're talking, I got half a face of makeup in and I looked back down, there was about 800 people in the live listening to me arguing, and I was like, you're actually for real. Like, I understand I'm there listening, right?
Aye,
But I'm listening because I'm trying to see what who to stay away from.
I get
On the
addicted
app.
to it, I'm not
just
gonna lie.
watching to, like, watch it.
It's a drama,
I
like,
think
seeing
everyone
them.
does.
I'm like, I kind of really drama. I love a drama.
Aye,
Do you know what?
Everybody does.
I like watching the drama,
don't like being...
but I don't being involved
Aye.
in the drama. It's
I
too
really
much for
tune
me.
that off. This is amazing. The
See, did
drama.
they make me 2-3 years ago? But I was writing about all the drama. No, it wasn't actually I was in about all the drama. It's everybody was causing it with me, and I was quite a nippy person. And I did have function back then, to be fair, so I was very
She was going
nippy.
about causing it everywhere. Like,
I was trying to go through doors and all that.
Because she'll just say it how it is, and people don't like
So
it.
people
But
don't.
people don't like that. We
See,
get
the minute you start going against the grain, know what I mean? That's like you become a conspiracy theorist. You're just.
Well, everybody was a conspiracy theorist when it came to the COVID.
Aye. I
Look
know.
at it now, it's
I got
actually
it. So
COVID.
I was.
you were quite good. You get slagged rotten for it, didn't you?
Aye, so I was against it big time because I was just using my common sense. I mean, like when they started talking about numbers and deaths and that at the start, I'm going like, not that bad. Know what I mean, I think in Wuhan it's like 800 people have died. I'm going like I just done a couple of Googles about like flu and stuff. Going, it's not that bad, and then escalated to that, and then even like my brother-in-law at the time was me and him clashed. He was mental, and then now we look back at it and I'm going, I can't believe you believe that these people are walking down the street fully clothed. Know what I mean, fine, just turning around and falling dead. Know what I mean, whereas everybody else dying from
We're
the
laughing,
COVID.
it's not funny, but
Aye.
people
Everybody
did
else dying
believe
was
that.
in hospital and the incubator thing. No incubator. Is it? No.
On
Oxygen
the,
mask you was talking about.
I know what you're talking about
Aye.
to keep them.
To keep them
What's that
hungry. And I'm
called?
going, so it went from them just falling down in the street, know what I mean, to being immobile and dying through the night. Like, where does this...
Is it nebulizer?
My brother gets
the-
slagged.
It's going to go in
I think incubators
no,
with kids going, is it no? Babies.
I think so. Aye.
can't remember.
Sweet
It's
baby
aye.
babies, sweet newborns.
Aye.
But it was
Um,
everybody was conspiracy
Oh, I
theories.
was getting it big time. know
I
what
go
mean?
to
was-
stinking spell. I go to stinking half of you. She's like, I'm not going to be able to come on holiday with us if you don't get that.
but I was
I'm
doing that and I
am
only
not
took
getting
mine
it.
myself, but it was
A
only
lot of
because
people-
we've got family
It's
abroad.
because she wanted to go on holiday.
well, that-
I'm
well,
not
that's
going
why I
to
don't-
for a
I wasn't
holiday.
wanted to just go on
No,
holiday.
I'll give you
A lot of
fucking you
people-
know, but a lot of people only took it
To go on
because of that
holiday.
fucking reason, because they had to go and see family, they had to do
But
stuff.
my wife had to take it so that she could keep her job.
I'm saying that's
I
Aye.
think that's a joke. Like,
And-
it's your body. Like, this is where it falls
Aye.
down to your body, your
Like
choice.
I've said, like, so she
Right.
got it when she pregnant with her second, and we were in there, and my thing with it was always been, you make your decisions, let me make my decision. Know what I mean? So we were in the hospital. This is my only kind of time I've ever been in and actually had a kind of conversation with somebody, and she gave her the vaccine, and I'm just sitting there and I go, right, are you next? I went, no. He's like, you're not getting it? I was like, no. I says, I'm all right, I'm cool, I'm brand new. And she went, but it's your pregnant wife and
I remember that.
unborn child
Guilt
that you're
trip
putting at
much.
risk. And I went like, nah, I'm all right. She says, if she's got it, then she'll be fine then. And she went, how is she be fine? Well, like, if she's got the vaccine, she's
should be
super
fine.
cured now. She's
people
never,
couldn't understand that concept.
Aye.
like,
Like, it was getting broken down to people.
But
and they were still
how,
like,
how
what?
could you be standing there injecting somebody with something
Aye.
and no understanding every bit of information behind that?
Aye.
I
And they
don't get
can't-
that.
And there can't be any information behind it because it's the vaccine. Well, who fucking knows what's in it? No, I mean, a lot of people hitting
Was
about
it
it.
not a
It's just saying.
trial?
Made me
Oh,
ill.
that's
Literally,
basically
that's
that's
a
a trial.
trial,
Think it. What was
Most
the trial?
most flu vaccines right now are on a lapse. So every year you use flu from the year before to create the new vaccine because obviously they keep new stuff like. So it took years for that to develop. So they can't just come up with.
What was the vaccine that came out and ended up making Wayne's pure lost limbs in that? That
I
was
know
it.
what you're talking about.
Do you remember that was
years and years
years and years ago? They
Even
brought
if
it.
It's funny
Aye.
you're talking about that because I had no long looked actually into
Aye.
that because I'd seen obviously I was
Mustn't
given a
remember,
lot. I
was
was
it?
put through a trial as a
No,
baby,
it
but
was-
didn't know about. So
Aye.
it plucked my brain to go. Did they do trials on newborn babies
They're,
before?
they're saying all these vaccines. Like my kids have had the ones that you get for like measles and all that. I
Aye.
can't remember what it is, but now there's all this link because with Trump coming in over in America, the head of like medical and stuff like that is looking into these because he's
Yeah.
trying to sue all sorts of companies saying that you're causing autism, you're causing all sorts in children through all these vaccines, pumping young children.
What is
for,
your opinions on him?
uh,
He's like him.
aye,
He
aye, aye.
loves
You
him.
like him.
I am.
You like him.
I don't know.
I see. To be honest with you, he's come in straight away. 3 wars have basically stopped straight away. You
Well,
see,
We
you're
all
basi-
knew he was capable and going to do that.
Aye.
To be fair,
Aye,
though,
so
didn't we?
the thing that I've got, like people's big thing that are against him, I know I've kind of sweared here, was about like the women's rights kind of
Yeah.
thing. People,
That's what gets me, Will.
so but people are very like uneducated on it in a sense
Yeah.
of like what rights do you think you're not getting because you can still get abortions. He's gave up.
Well, he's done it more better now.
So the way his abortion things work is that each state has their own ruling. So each state can make. So the people
See,
in each
that's where it's
state.
becoming a problem because there's people that are in certain states that are literally at a point where they're losing their child anyway. They're miscarrying.
Well,
and
that's
they're
the
going into
history. He's got the
hospital,
kind of
and they're
new
being
law thing.
left until they go into like sepsis state and all
Aye.
that before they leave.
So
and get
there's
treated.
the rule that he's got is that if the mother's in danger, abortion at any term is legal, because obviously if the mother's going to die or the baby's killing the mum through like sepsis and stuff like that, you can have abortion. You can't have any, just because there was a thing going about how you can't get abortions at 9 months, whereas there's loads of evidence out there with
Why would you 9 months though, unless you
So
had
people were
proper
doing that.
medical reasons?
Yeah. So
Obviously,
so people
like
were just
something
phoning up
went
going,
wrong.
oh, I'm 9 months pregnant, I'll look for abortion, and it's on recordings and going, right, okay, well, this is the procedure, it'll be like you give birth to the child, but they kill the baby inside you first, so they use these big prongs, and what they do is they rip out parts of the baby so that it's a dead easy passing, so they take off like limbs.
9 months is actually ripping it
So
at
full
that
baby.
point. You
Aye,
need
he's
to look
basically
at
killing a
different
baby,
options.
basically,
it's
not
Aye,
proper.
That's
So his thing about that, so
That stopped rape as well. Rape's 100%. You're
So
allowed
that was
to.
a big thing with me when I was looking at it, because there's families that there's incest.
Aye, so that's
and
100%. You
it's
can
known
do
that-
it.
his views are if you've been raped that you can have an abortion.
You can have an abortion straight away.
You know
That's
what I mean? But
thing
not at like 8-9 months
See,
term.
why
you know
are
what I mean?
these states not following the rules? But it's as if they've just went, nah, we'll
It's
do
different for
anything
here.
'cause you've gave
We
us
get
a-
laws.
People, it's so the way he looks at it, going each state, it's the people in that state that vote for the rights of that state. So he's given the power to the people to vote. You know what I mean? So say for Scotland's a state of America, he will leave it to our government to have our
Vote
own
for us.
voting system regarding their beliefs and what they think is true. But
This has got to sound pure horrible, right, and dead like sexist for the other side.
Aye.
But I don't think that guys should really be having a say ever.
aye,
And obviously can have an opinion, but having an actual say of telling somebody what they can and can't do,
I know.
I don't think
believe
that
as well.
abortion should be something
we had
that
this discussion,
guys should be allowed to have a say
and I
on.
said that's fine. But see, if it's a one night stand, a guy should have to be able to have a thing where he can say, "I don't need to take any legal thing to do."
Yeah.
Right?
I believe
That's
in
the
that.
only thing I
I
say.
believe in that.
That's the one thing it should be a thing. If it's like a one night stand, the
Yeah.
guy could say,
Aye, because
one
there is certain
night
terms with like I said pure. It's all went off top here, but with the pro-choice and pro-life movement going right, well, it's like, say for example, like that if fall pregnant and the dad's going, or the person's going, yeah, I'm really wanting to have a kid, and then next minute, boom, the child's away. Going, as much obviously it's the woman's body. It's like, see what that does to men. Know what I mean? Like, 'cause
Yeah.
there's people. And these are all dead small cases. Know what I mean? Because you get most men go, thank fuck, I'm away.
I know, but there is
Aye.
some dads that take on their kids. I know there's
See, if
more
you
mums,
get a guy
but there is a
coming here-
portion, and they love their kids and they bring them up without the mum.
See, you get a guy
Aye,
coming about and saying that's what they want to do.
It's whether they'll stick to
Aye,
it.
I don't think
understand
that should be a
you
thing, I
don't
know
want
what
to
you
be a
mean.
mum, but
Aye.
can I take the way when the way's born, me and my family?
Aye,
raise the
aye,
way and
aye.
get that should be fine.
Or
Because
it's-
you're basically just adopt. Like,
I
you're
do
not
feel that
adopting the
abortion
baby,
should
you're-
be.
Sure, baby.
Aye,
I've
like,
always
you're giving your
found-
baby to a family that
I'm
you know, love them.
very, I'm like, it's this is all my opinion. You know what I mean? So I'm very like I'm against kind of abortion and probably in all factors. You know what I mean? Because like the pro-choice in life is always through like you shouldn't have sex because sex leads to babies, and then people say, oh, why can't women have sex the same as men? Like that kind of thing. Well, going well, if I have sex with a woman, the chances of them falling pregnant is very high, and same like, obviously the other way around. If a woman has sex with a man, chances of getting pregnant. So when it comes to like the kind of abortion side of it, I think it should be like a legal thing that should happen. It should be something that like a doctor should say should happen, a lawyer, because like I feel like if I had got somebody pregnant, I feel like the doctor should know my side of the things. Going right, well, I don't want the abortion. I want to have the child. Whether I know like going through all that trauma. of
But
being
then that
pregnant.
would set it up legally for you, like I was saying. Like if you want to take that baby
Aye,
on and she's
that's what
prepared
I'm
to
saying.
obviously
Aye,
carry on,
basically,
then
that's
aye,
what-
why not?
Because it's like a lot of people take the abortion side of like in a religious sense. I'm not religious at all. I'm more of a spiritualist type person. But I feel like, I mean, most of the time, there's no hundreds of like there's lots of people having abortions out there, especially in that kind of like American stuff. Here it isn't like a pure mental like people. Some people are using it as a contraception. I do know people that have had multiple abortions, and you go like that, going, and then now they've got children, and then now they're regretting them. I mean, I've got a friend of my wife that's had 2, and she had a baby now, and then now her fucking head's messed up because then she's thinking about the
Aye,
babies.
what if?
What if she
If
couldn't
stuff,
have
and it's just for lack of knowledge. Know what I mean? People think I've never met somebody that's had a wedding and went, oh, it was the worst thing I've ever done. Know what I mean? In all circumstances. Know what I mean? I do get like because like my partner works for the police, but she's worked in like rape units and child protection, and now she's moving into domestics. And
You understand that side of the things.
aye,
You're
so
hearing things and stuff like
so
that.
when it comes to like the kind of like people having like abortion for like rape and stuff like that, I mean the rape side of things is the most traumatic part of it, obviously, because she's dealing with. But like they can get it here, no problem. It's been raped. It's just a pill. It's very quick. It's like, I've been raped. Cool. There's high chance you might be pregnant. Do you want to take this pill? Boom. It's very easy. But over in America, like I think they're just fucking very extreme over there. Like there's people getting abortions at 8 months, but their excuse is being raped.
I don't think there's any excuse.
I don't think
Do you
there's
get what I mean? When it's that long, that's what I think.
That's
That's what
a
you
full
were
baby.
long way to
That's-
short by the time you were trying to say the rape it should be done straight away instead of waiting to 8 months.
No
and
rape.
then- no rape.
No
you know what I
rape.
mean?
No rape.
I mean, what I mean?
Straight away. But abortion, like I think, like that should be something that
Done quick instead of waiting till like 8
Well,
months.
you know
and
right
then
at the beginning, so why would you wait that long?
I
I know,
know.
obviously, if it's like maybe it's getting hidden, if it's somebody really young, that's maybe different for me. If it's somebody, maybe a family member,
Aye.
that's all been hidden, and they're scared and they're young.
But when it's an adult,
But
you're
even
like,
at that, I had her young. Now, I made a choice actively to have her at that age, and I've stayed there and kept her, whatever. But I would understand having like a bit of, I do remember the fear. I remember looking and going, how am I going to look after this wee thing for 18 years? That was lying in hospital.
18, try to talk to
Oh, well, I'm still stuck with
Yeah,
you. But like, I suppose, but like if they're kind of hiding and whatever, is what I'm kind of getting at, and then they find out. I still don't believe in getting rid of that baby.
Aye, is that-
But maybe like making it that wee bit easier. And adopt a baby out, do something.
Aye.
I don't know.
that's the best.
I
way,
do think that abortion should be put. I know, like it's probably a bad thing to say now because we're talking about professionals, but I feel that professionals should be involved in the side of things instead
Aye,
of just
definitely.
phoning up for a wee appointment and look, can I get an appointment? How long are you? Cool, I just come in, or because in America I think they send the abort if it's pills,
Aye, out in the post.
they send it in
Yeah.
the post. I'm going. This is as much as like I do believe that life starts in the womb. That I mean, whereas a lot of people, like majority of people
First
out there,
breath.
is when they're brought into the world is when life starts. And I'm going, well, you get kids born at 3-4 months premature that grow up to be totally fine. You know what I mean? So
It's been proven now though that I don't know who it is. I'd be lying to say I knew who
Aye.
brought it out, but they can feel pain.
Aye.
Like a very, very early stage. I think it was 11 weeks. Was that 9-11 weeks? They can feel pain.
aye,
Whatever it is, the reactions. So no, it's wrong.
Or whatever that is.
aye, that's true.
Aye,
But
12 weeks.
12 weeks.
aye, 3 months is.
I started for a question about Trump.
Aye,
For about 10 minutes, man.
Aye, no, it's just a wee bit like, so whenever I hear people go, I don't like Trump, and then they hit like the racist and the against women's rights, and I'm going, right, well, so I'm very much if I hear somebody, if I'm pro somebody, I'll look and see why people are anti that person, so I'll look for that information.
Yeah.
When it comes to him, like, I can't find much in regards of like him
Have
saying
you seen what he
things.
said about his daughter?
Mm.
Have you seen the video?
Don't you
on
start
it?
something else again for 10 minutes.
I
about
know,
Trump.
because you get him with Trump,
I know.
man. He's fucking
But
weird.
No, I like people talking.
I
You
will
need
talk
to have
about it after it because it goes in too much detail about Trump. So obviously,
Show you the video.
Aye,
She's just
Okay.
as bad.
we'll get into a lot more detail in this part 2. We'll get into the obviously police coming and stuff like that, which I still fucking can't believe they didn't send an ambulance and just sent police. I just don't get that when that's what it was asked for. Because we've kind of went on quite. Because as I said to you,
I know.
that's been over an hour. I've been sitting there and you said you were scared to go on the camera.
Aye.
See, but I mean, it comes in straight away. Your thing. So that's been part 1 of No Young No Old. Stay tuned for part 2.